I was a little taken aback by how much Mario just sounds like Chris Pratt doing like a bit of a Brooklyn accent. Turn around now, and you can go home in one piece. But if you don't, just remember, going down this path was your choice.
A lot of irony in that, right? Life comes at you fast, don't it? Hello everyone, it's Kiryu Kazuma back with another video, and this is going to be a different style of video because, typically I do videos on, video games or tech or, podcasts where I interview celebrities and such like that. This is going to be more of a personal piece, and this will, I rarely do personal piece, like, my personal opinion on stuff like that, just because we're in a day and age where like you say something, you get canceled, that's everything, right? But this is something that I feel that I need to speak on, and mainly because I am now in this field, and I wanted to talk about voice acting and this whole thing with replacing characters or voice actors based on the fact that they aren't the race of the character, and why that's a slippery slope. But the main thing I want to talk about beyond that is Yong Yea, who is now voicing Kiryu. Now, I don't know Yong Yea. I don't watch his content. I know a lot of people are big fans of his, and I'm not trying to take any type of shots at him. I probably will be blocked by him because of this video. But I really want to talk about the fact that, in my own personal opinion, someone who's been with the Yakuza series or Like a Dragon or Ryoga Toku series since 2005, 2006. Yeah. I just have to say that he's completely miscast as Kiryu. Like it in no way would I ever picked him to voice Kiryu. Now I'm not saying that he's not got any capabilities of being a voice actor. I mean, he clearly does, right? I mean, he's done stuff with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and in that show, from the clips that I've heard, I don't watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but from what I watched, like clips, I thought he was actually fine in the role, and he's done other stuff too. But the thing is, like, I don't know if it was intentional, the direction. I don't know if this is voice acting director's fault, or if this is him trying to be like, I want to do my own take on the character. But like, there's nothing, and I'm just gonna say this completely out front. There's nothing tough or masculine about the voice that he put on. It's incredibly nasally. And it's like the I hate trying to say this because this comes off like me being a bit of a bully saying this, but it sounds like, like the nerd or the scrawny geeky kid that got picked on and he's trying to sound tough. That's exactly what he sounds like. And, Kiryu at this point in Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, he's like 50, what, 51, 52 in that game, which I am working on a review on that. But, you know, what, why, why I don't know why they would pick Yong Yea. Like, Daryl Carullo, in my opinion, was the perfect English voice for, at least in my opinion, I thought he was a perfect voice for Kiryu. He was the original English voice of him, and then he got to come back in Yakuza Like a Dragon to voice Kiryu again. So, like, why do we need to, you know, I don't know. It's just very strange. And so this goes into something else I've been noticing when it comes to the voice acting community. And I've noticed this too with some of the voice acting that I've done. I've done voice acting for commercials so far and infomercials and stuff like that. And I'm noticing, like, even with talking to my agent and such, that the industry is starting to shift towards race-based casting. And I know a lot of voice actor friends of mine are always like, we need people of color to be voice actors and get these opportunities. And, white folks have gotten opportunities left, right, and, black people don't get them, or people of color don't get them. But the problem with the push that we're going towards and why it's such a slippery slope is that you're going to start pigeonholing people into being typecast. And I don't know if you guys remember how acting was for the longest. We've had very prominent black voice actors and very prominent, well, not just voice actors, but actors in Hollywood films, as well as, prominent, Asian, Hispanic, and such. But for the longest time, if you were a person of color, you were relegated to being typecast in whatever the stereotype was for your ethnicity. Like, I mean, look at someone like, um, man, there's so many different people. I'm trying to think of one person right now, but like, Jamie Foxx, think about him, how he was stuck doing goofy, comedy thing. And back in the 90s, black comedy was kind of the only thing you could do unless you were a very, very prominent actor. But like, look at how he got stuck in that. And as talented as he is, he's a talented actor, amazing singer, but he got stuck, typecast in that role until he got the opportunity to break out of it, you know? And it's just, Don Cheadle, another character, another character, another actor, same thing, being stuck in these roles, Will Smith for the longest until he broke out. But like, you see that type of stuff. Like you look back, the 70s, well, let's even go back further, the 60s, 70s, the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s. That was a thing where you were stuck in that box. And so when we're getting to a point where if you're a voice actor, you can only, and even in acting too, let's just say in acting period, if you're a trained actor and you're only able to do things based on the color of your skin or your ethnicity, you're going to lose out on so many opportunities. And the people who are pushing for this really don't understand, or maybe they do, and they're just part of whatever this is that's going on. They're really going to put us in a position where we're not going to be able to get big prominent roles because we're going to have to look a certain way or be a certain thing. And for the people who are in these roles, like that are have established these characters and have become iconic, I personally don't understand why you are giving up food on your table. You're giving up your bag so somebody else who hasn't worked as hard as you to get the position that you got so they can have it. I don't agree with that. Like, I personally think if you worked hard, that would be like me. I'm gonna use myself as an example, right? I've got the Casanova podcast, the first podcast in Hawaii, interviewing celebrities and whatnot on a consistent base for years. That would be like me giving up my show to someone who said, "Hey, Mikhail, I want to be able to do what you're doing. I want to take over your show and do it better." And I'm just gonna step down and give it to them. I would never do that, right? You need to work for it and earn it. And the whole thing with acting is, why should your race or ethnicity matter? If you've got the acting skills, then you should be able to go and just do the role. If you are the right fit for the role and your skills are great and you can bring that character to life, then that should be all that matters. Because if we're going back to this being what determines what you get and the way the industry is, trending right now, that is not good. That's not good at all. So it's like, what is the point of gaining skills if your skill set doesn't matter? Your color, your skin, and ethnicity matters more. Is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. And one of the other things too, going back to Yong Yea as the voice of Kiryu, right? Now, I notice with a lot of titles with Sega lately, and a lot of game companies, they are trying to put the ethnicity of the person to the character that they're voicing. Like we saw it with Like a Dragon, predominantly Asian voice cast, with a couple folks who aren't Asian that are voice casting, voice acting some people. And we're seeing that with Persona 3 remake or Persona 3 Reloaded, and we're seeing that with a lot of games going forward. And I don't think that is at all a good thing. It's just not. It's put people in the roles like what we saw in Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon. What we saw with that is that all the voice actors were perfect for the role. What we're seeing with other things where they're just doing it based off of ethnicity, that's not good. You should do it off of skill, not ethnicity. And you're making this unfair playing field, and it's just not good. So with YongYea, right? Going back, I know I went on a little tangent there, but going back to YongYea, he's just completely miscasting the character. Um, he just doesn't fit Kiryu. a 50-plus-year-old character voiced by someone who's my age, right? I think personally I could probably do a better Kiryu than him.
Turn around now, and you can go home in one piece. But if you don't, just remember, going down this path was your choice.
Turn around now, and you can go home in one piece. But if you don't, just remember, going down this path was your choice. And I've done a range of different characters, for fan dubs, for fan projects, and for commercials, right? And infomercials. And I'm able to do that because I have a background in acting. I've taken voice acting classes. There are people who are voice acting prominent characters that are not the ethnicity of the character. I mean, case in point, the guy who voices Samurai Jack is black. But when we were watching Samurai Jack back then, you never would have known, right? And same thing with the voice of M. Bison in Street Fighter. That's my friend Cheryl Rivers. He voices him. Would you have known? You know? So it's like it, when they weren't picked based on their ethnicity. They were picked on their capability and their skill set. And that is what we should it's a dangerous thing where we're not, what is the point of going to all these schools and doing all this training, taking all these classes if that doesn't matter, you know? So, yeah. And then there's the aspect of what's really ironic to me is Yong Yea, right? Someone who took tons of shots at Chris Pratt voicing Mario. He was dumping on him relentlessly. And then life came at him fast. He was saying that Chris Pratt just sounds like Chris Pratt trying to do a Brooklyn accent, right? And it didn't sound like he was doing much. And then you hear Yong Yea doing Kiryu, and it's like, bro, you're not doing anything different. It's just, I don't know. And then because people are criticizing him, and look, I get it. As a content creator, and this is advice I would give to anybody who's looking to get into content creating or who is one. You're going to get a lot of criticism for a lot of things. You're going to have people attacking you relentlessly. You're going to have a lot of stuff happen. And ultimately, what you have to do is have thick skin to not let that shit get to you. And one thing I will say, definitely, if you're a content creator, please do not look up your name. Like, if you don't like criticism, if you're on like Twitter or X or whatever, then make it so that only people who know you or people you follow can interact with you. If you don't like criticism on YouTube, then block the comments, right? Or put in, keyword blocking. If someone says that word, then their whole comment gets held back and it doesn't get publicly published. But you have to have thick skin to be in this field. And especially as someone who truthfully segued his way into doing using YouTube as a platform to get into voice acting, and someone who has been criticizing and criticizing and criticizing so many people, so many things. The minute he starts getting criticism, he starts blocking everyone. Like, I get criticism too. I don't block people. The only time I've ever blocked someone is when I need to report it. Like when I've had, recently getting doxxed and people threatening, my wife and my children, or saying like, hey, we're going to put your information out there. That's something I will report you to, I'll report you on the platform, report you to authorities, and then I will block you. But like someone coming at me saying whatever they want, all this bull jive, it is what it is, just ignore it and move on. But like actively going out, and maybe he's got a bot, maybe he's got some type of bot system in place that has people, like if they say a certain thing or, it'll go through search and just start blocking people. I understand you want to keep your social media feeds, curated to a certain thing. You don't want to see constant criticism because that can mentally get to you. But at the same time, you cannot have done the thing that you're the thing you don't want people doing to you, you did to somebody else, a peer of yours. Like there's the hypocrisy in it. And honestly, as far as like Sega picking him and getting rid of Daryl Carullo, I don't agree with it. I think they should have kept Daryl, and I don't know. As someone who primarily plays well, I mean, we've only had what at this point now, if you include Gaiden, 3 Yakuza titles or Like a Dragon or Ryoga Toku titles in English. I typically play in Japanese. I play sub. So I'm gonna continue to listen to Kuroda as Kiryu. I'm not going to I'm not gonna play it in English. And I've got friends that are in the Yakuza series, like Mark Whidden, one of my friends who's in it. My other friend, Greg Shun, who is the voice of you know, Talk in the Judgment series. So for those, like, yeah, I mean, I played in English just so I could support my friends, but typically I'm just gonna listen to it, as I play it in Japanese. But yeah, the whole thing with YongYea miscast, I don't understand. And what I have noticed, and this is a criticism that I will lobby at the companies that are picking the people, is start curating who you pick for these roles better than what you're doing. You know, I'm listening to the English dub of Rurouni Kenshin. I know there's a lot of controversy around Rurouni as a whole, right? Rurouni, that's the anagram that we use for Rurouni Kenshin, right? Or Samurai X. Um, the English dub to me isn't great. Yeah, there's nostalgic bias because I love the old anime, but at the same time, the people voicing certain characters are completely miscast. Like Saito is completely miscast. Why would you pick that guy? Voice is too deep. He does not capture the essence of Hajime Saito. Even the voice of Sanosuke. Why couldn't you just gotten Lex Lane to come back and do the role? I feel like, and maybe it's because in Japan they treat voice acting very differently, and voice actors in Japan act worlds apart of what voice actors in America do or in the West do. So in Japan, you get a role, you stay with that role until like a controversy hits, and that's the only time you get removed from the role. But here in America and in the West in general, they switch out people based on whatever is the trending popular thing, wherever is a social thing, and the approach of voice actors is entirely different in America and the West than Japan. Like there's a sense of ego and self-importance, that English voice actors have that Japanese voice actors don't have at all. And they protect those roles. What they are doing in Japan. Whereas English voice actors have some of the most inflated egos. And I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things and I've dealt with a lot of things. So it's unfortunate, you know. So yeah, that's just my thing. Young Ya, I know you're never gonna watch this, so I'm probably gonna get blocked. Dude, you're a critic. You criticize others. People are criticizing you. Deal with it. You were miscast. Or maybe you weren't miscast. Maybe you should have had better voice direction of where to take the character. Because you've proven yourself to be a huge hypocrite. Attacking Chris Pratt for the very thing you're doing. Just saying. So all that being said, what do you guys think? Are you going to be playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in English and listening to Yong Yea as Kiryu Kazama? Or are you going to do like me and just play it in sub? Which sucks because the voice of Ichiban, Kaiji Tang, he is so freaking good. And I hate that I can't play it in. You know what? I think somebody's actually going to do this. I think somebody's going to use AI, voice sampling or AI voices, and like take the PC version and make like a mod pack and put remove all of Yong Yea's lines and his voice in it completely, and put in, like somebody doing Daryl Curiel. Someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna do it, and they do. Please tag me and let me know about it. But all that being said, I want you guys to let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member, Patreon, all that stuff that I gotta throw out there because hey, gotta eat. That being said, catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.